Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the Tuesday's edition of the program Shagalinku. Welcome, everyone, to the show. You're welcome to the Tuesday's edition of Shagalinku. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and today we'll be discussing about health, women's health, actually. We're looking at breast cancer and how can we show support to survivors and also encourage young people to have body positivity. Now, modern science and technology has also helped out in making sure that people who live with terminal illnesses could get cures. One very key point in a whole lot, not just for either terminal diseases or anything, is early detection. A lot of times people get scared of even for the COVID-19 now. A lot of people get scared of even going for testing, and they don't know that's the only way they can save themselves, their loved ones, and all of that. So today we'll be looking at how we could also support, because another thing is stigma that surrounds a whole lot of ailments and all that. Anyway, I have my guest here. She's a breast cancer survivor. She's an author, a life coach, a consultant, and a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Suvekchya, Ghimire, and she'll be talking with us a whole lot about her book, her life journey, and how everything has been for her. For this interview, she said she would like to be referred to as Sue, so that makes it even easy for me and all of that. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Ambassador Emmanuel. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the program. It's good to have
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. It's good
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, so you are a lady of so many parts. Author, life coach. I didn't also add that you're a mother and you're a consultant. How do you bring all this together? Let's even start from the basics. Who is you? What else
Sure.
do we need to know about you?
Sure, of course. So I have worked in development sector for over 10 years. And in 2016, I got diagnosed with cancer. And that's when I changed my life completely. And I started dedicating my life towards raising awareness about breast cancer. And that's where, I decided that I think talking to people about breast cancer, sharing my story, telling people about getting to know their body and body positivity is quite important. So now that's what I do. I talk to people, I raise awareness. I tell people how important it is to get to know your body, because that's when you can get early diagnosis, which can save your life, especially in cancer. We all know that. So that's where multiple roles come in, bringing in all my experiences that I've had in my life and trying to help people who are in need.
Wow, that's lovely. And let me also say here that we're streaming live in three destinations. So you can catch us on at Shagalinko TV and our YouTube page, and you can also get us on our Facebook page at Shagalinko TV. The comment section is open. If you have a question for Sue, you have anything you want to say, please do drop them on the comment section and we'll be reading them. But let me also start with this, Sue, from a doctor, a medical doctor in Nigeria who saw the flyers and she said she was going to share it as well. Her name is Dr. Chimamaka Joy. She said, "Can't wait, excited already." Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank
So
you. Thank
everyone
you.
watching, wherever you're watching us from, please do drop your comments in the comment section. If you have any particular question for Sue, how she's been able to manage this while and any therapy and all that, she'll be willing to talk about that. Anyway, Sue, let's come back to you. So
Sure.
when the news came, how did you take it? What was it like? Were you also thinking that could be the end of the world? What were the thoughts running through your mind at that time?
Of course. So in 2016, I noticed that something was not right with my breast, and this was when I had gone to take a shower. I did not know what exactly was wrong, but because I was aware of my body, about my skin, my physical body, I felt that something was wrong. And so it was one thing that led to another, where I went to see the doctor and I said that I just don't feel that something is right. And one thing led, like I said, one thing led to another. It was a biopsy that confirmed that it was breast cancer. It was already stage 2, which is still considered as an early stage. It hadn't spread anywhere else. It was only my right breast. So it was still quite contained. And of course, when doctors first inform you that you have cancer, they just are able to tell you the stage and the grade of cancer. They will have to do the surgery, take more of the cancer out of the body, take it to the lab in order to give a final evaluation of that. So that took about 6 weeks. And during that 6 weeks, the constant thought of, am I going to die, was of course there. It was very shocking to know that I had cancer at the age of 32. I didn't have any children at that time. I was recently married. So it felt like my whole world was collapsing. And I went through the same emotions a lot of people go through: anger. I cried a lot. I was upset. Every morning I would wake up wishing that, it was a dream, and that it was just a bad dream, and I would wake up and everything would be fine. But unfortunately, that was my reality. And I think over time there was a process that I actually applied, which I'll talk about more, that helped me overcome this big fear. The doctors did say that you will survive, but we will have to do more investigation. But again, we know cancer, as we know in our society, and it's linked to death. So the constant reminder that I might die was also, of course, there. And it was very, very shocking and very painful to find out.
Okay, that's some emotions there, and I like the fact that you are happy to talk about it, because a lot of people don't like talking about it, especially when it comes to sexual reproductive health, right? And particularly for women, for men they could be free, talk about it, seek for help, they are always on the move. But for women, you find sometimes that even for their personal physicians, they rarely talk about it until it gets really, really worse. Let's also talk to young girls. Where is the importance of creating awareness for young girls, particularly for mothers, to also teach young girls a whole lot? Because even with menstrual hygiene, mothers shy away from teaching their female children. Some female children get to know about their messes and talk about it for the first time with their peers, with their friends in school, and which shouldn't be. It should be the other way around. Parents at home, guardians should be the ones to give the female child the first education. So where is the place of education, sexual reproductive health education for young girls?
Of course, I think you've brought up a very, very important issue right there. I think the fact that I do more and more awareness among people about breast cancer, I talk to them about breast in detail. And this was not the case before. To be honest, I come from a culture in South Asia where breast is referred to as what we commonly refer to as chest, not even breast. So my growing up, my whole life, I thought my breast was chest. And I had only once I got diagnosed with breast cancer was when I actually asked my father. I said, "What is the word for breast?" So I think that in itself tells us a lot about the culture, that they don't want to talk about breasts, they don't want to talk about reproductive organs. And I think that's where we realize that if something does not fit right, then you will never know that it's not right. Like, for example, if there is a change, because some of the symptoms of breast cancer is dimpling on your skin, some some problems with the nipple, problem with your outer skin. So if those don't if somebody is feeling shy to even look at their own breast, they're not going to know what's happening to their body. And therefore, this is not only just breast, but any other reproductive organ as well. The chances of later diagnosis is quite common. In fact, a study shows that kids who have been body shamed their whole life, so in school growing up, they've either said you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too your nose is too big, so people eh, start being ashamed of their body. And because they're ashamed of their body, they stop giving preference to their body. So they won't know when something is wrong. I'm not saying that if something goes wrong with your body, it's cancer. That's not what I'm saying. But if there is something wrong, then you can certainly go to the doctor, talk to the doctor about it, and investigate it further. It might not be anything, but it's always good to be aware of what your body and how your body reacts to everything, because your body is trying to tell you something with all the symptoms that you can see. So I think it's very important. It's very important for mothers to talk to their daughters about it, for fathers to talk to their son also about it, because breast cancer can happen to men, um, a very, very small percentage, but breast cancer does happen to males as well. So it's very important for us to talk within our family, to also educate our children in school. Even policymakers, government levels should raise awareness on such issues. And I think what's also very important is to hear positive stories about survival of cancer, because right now modern technology and modern science is fantastic. It saved my life. I'm alive here 5 years. Same month, June was the month I got diagnosed, so it's been exactly 5 years. I've been cancer free. I've survived because of the modern science, because of the medications. So because of which, I think it's good to hear positive stories, so people do not get feared because of cancer, because it's a very fearful term. A lot of people, when they heard I had cancer, they were very scared to say the term. So they said, oh, we heard you got this. The big C was the word they referred to as. So I think people need to hear more positive stories, need to hear more about people surviving after cancer and living a great life after cancer as well. I think that's very important.
Okay, thank you very much. In case you just joined us, this is the Tuesday's edition of Shagalinko TV, and I have my guest, Lady Sue, and together we'll be looking at breast cancer and how we can support survivors and encourage body positivity. Please drop your comments in the comment section, and we'll be reading them. And do let us know where you're sending your messages from across the globe, and we'll appreciate. See if I can see some of these messages on the screen. I'd like you to read. Remember, I told you Dr. Chimamaka will be sending messages, and she's dropped some here. So read this first one, and I'll put out the second one for you to read as well. Then you can respond.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for the comment, Doctor. Dr. Chimamaka, they don't talk about it because of the stigma involved, and that is so right. We don't talk about it, and it's a very similar society, and not just in Asia or in Africa, but I think even in Europe and in America, people do not talk about breasts and reproductive organ as much. Of course, in our society is a lot more worse than it is in the Western world, but you referred to menstrual hygiene, you referred to other reproductive organs as well. So I think it's very important for people to step out of their comfort zone and at least talk to their, if they don't feel comfortable talking to comfortable talking, maybe there should be a friend, maybe a teacher, somebody that they can confide in. So they'll be able to share some of the, share about how they feel about their body. And I think we need to realize that we need to realize that if we want to get rid of the stigma, we need to start talking about it with children, so they don't suffer later on with any illnesses or a certain issue that might get very serious later on. So I think it's very important to talk about it earlier.
Yeah. So take this other one, a third time around, from Dr. Chimamaka, and let's see.
Sure. I learned of a lady that died recently. Nobody knew she was battling an end-stage breast cancer. The husband forbade her from telling anyone and going through mastectomy because he feels it will affect their kids and make intending husbands not to get married to the girl, as he feels it will scare men away from marrying their girls knowing it's hereditary. That is very true. And, husbands, in-laws, families fear telling people about breast cancer. Unfortunately, I think it's also the lack of knowledge. Understand that breast cancer, yes, its chances are that, I'm sure the doctor will be able to give more information on this, but not every breast cancer is hereditary. For example, my case, breast cancer was not hereditary. None of my family had history of cancer. So there are people who get cancer which is out of their genetic makeup. So I think lack of knowledge is what makes people fear. And also mastectomy, we put so much of effort into breast and how breasts look. Mastectomy removes the entire breast, either a double mastectomy or a bilateral mastectomy. So it's the physical appearance that people can see. Therefore, families fear that somebody is going to notice and somebody is going to know. But this is just very unfortunate that somebody had to lose their life because of something that could be saved, because breast cancer, if detected on an early stage or even sometimes at a very later stage, is curable. So it's really unfortunate, but I think we see this trend in a lot of cultures where people do not want people to talk about breast. For me, it was very difficult at the beginning as well. I had to talk to my family. I had to convince my family. My family lived through my experience with cancer, and they saw how important it was to talk about it. And so now they encourage me. They have seen it as an example. So now they encourage me. And when I tell them that I'm going to talk about breast cancer, when I tell them that my book that I talk about breast cancer is being read by 12 to 15-year-old middle school children, my families are proud of me, and they encourage me to do that more. So I think it all comes with education. It all comes with knowledge. So I think that's where it's very important for not just family members, but also government. People have a lot of faith. So religious bodies, churches and temples and all these places should also encourage people to be body positive and be okay to talk about body. So I think that's the support that we look from the government, from policymakers, from our school, from everywhere. So yes, as you were saying, and Dr. Chimamaka also says that yes, not every breast cancer is hereditary. So it's great to have a medical confirmation here in the show.
Yeah, true. Okay, thank you so much, Sue. I'll come back and ask you a bit about your book, and then you also tell us where we can find it. But let me take another message here that came up. This is from Esther in Lagos, Nigeria. If you can see Esther's message on the screen, you can read and then respond.
Sure. So Esther is saying, thank you, Esther, for your message. So Esther is saying, Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, thank you so much for choosing this crucial societal issue. It will give a lot of people hope, because the guest who's also a survivor of breast cancer. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing, encouraging, and inspiring people on this platform. Thank you so much for appreciating, that this issue, this topic is quite important to all of us. And also, thank you to Ambassador Emmanuel for seeing the importance of how it is so crucial to talk to our society and to talk to our younger generations and older generations as well about body positive. So I really appreciate that as well. So thanks goes back to you.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about your book. Why the title Cancer, Curry, and Me? What
Sure.
was behind the motive of the title? I know when people write, a couple of writings here and there, sometimes the title even becomes the last thing because you're battling with what is apt as at that moment and all that. So why the title Cancer, Curry, and Me? And how long did it take you to put the book together?
Sure. So I decided that during my cancer journey, I was doing a little bit of writing. I started journaling. That was a way of me trying to overcome my fear. It was a part of me, my positive thinking journey. It was my emotional intelligence that I was trying to adapt to what was happening to my life. So I started writing a lot of journals. I started to write my experience. So 3 or 4 years after I had this information with me, and I saw how important it was to talk about breast cancer and to let people know, to share my story, I decided to write a book. I wrote a book. I have the copy of the book here. It's called Cancer, Curry, and Me.
Wow.
So
Wow, beautiful.
as
Let's have it again
uh,
for a second.
sure, of course.
Yeah, good. Go on.
Cancer, yeah. So Cancer, Curry, and Me. The book basically is divided into three parts: Cancer, Curry, and Me, as the title suggests. So Cancer talks about my experience with cancer, and during cancer, I was, of course, I had my ups and downs. I had my moments of weakness. I had my moments of crying, but nevertheless, I tried to see cancer at a very different light. I started making jokes about a lot of different things that were happening to me. For example, when I lost all my hair, I started joking about how my hair was looking like a big eggshell, or how my skin was shining bright with all the sweat that was as a side effect of chemotherapy. So I started taking everything that was happening to me quite light, because I wanted to find humor in what I was going through. So I have written the cancer section in a way where I have tried to explain to people what cancer is and what my treatment involved, but also at the same time how my side effects and what it meant to me. So there's a lot of correlation between the treatment process and food, for example, and how difficult it was for me not to be able to like food at all as well. But I love food. So, not being able to eat something was a big tragedy for me, more than anything else. I think more than losing my hair, I was very upset. I couldn't eat egg or eat fish or have chicken. So for me, I started looking. So I share my experience in that book, and then I also talk about curry, which, as we know by the terminology, it during my cancer treatment, at one point I was taking about 20 to 23 medication in one time. It was all the side effects that were trying to be treated. So some side effects that were such as like feeling sick or feeling nausea or getting skin rash or having extremely dry skin was something that I realized that I could try and use something that's in our kitchen in order to help myself rather than taking medicine. So when I started feeling sick and my stomach was hurting, I would have ginger. I would make a ginger water. I would use ginger in various forms in order to heal my stomach, which meant I had to take one less medicine. So slowly I started going back to our traditional food and our traditional eating habit. So I started calling my grandmother and I started asking her, what did you do when there were no medicine? How did what did you do when your ears hurt, or when your skin was itchy, or when you had dry eye? all of those things. So I started asking her questions. So she started giving me some remedies, which I started then doing research, starting to read online. So I noticed that they helped me during my treatment. I'm not saying that you should stop doing your treatment and only take spices. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that I did my normal chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and but at the same time, if there was something, if I was feeling sick, if I couldn't eat, ginger would help me, so I could eat a good big meal that helped me recover. So I think in some ways I found that our food, our traditional food that comes from our earth, was really nourishing for my body. Because I ate well, I recovered well, my body was stronger, and I could take chemotherapy, because as we know, chemotherapy is an extremely strong medication. So it helped me recover quicker and recover faster. So that's where I share my experience. I talk about ginger, garlic, turmeric. I talk about caraway seed. I talk about cumin seed. So, and talk about how we could perhaps use them in our diet, not only when you have cancer or when you're unwell, but just on a regular basis, how you can use them. So that's what the curry section is about for the book. And the third part, which I talk about me, is where I talk about how cancer transformed my life and how it changed my life, and how now I help other cancer patients. I coach other cancer patients, either who are going through cancer or after cancer, in order to how to adjust to the new life, how to adapt to the new life after they've gone through cancer. How can family members be more of a support to those who are going through cancer? So I have some clients whose mother is going through cancer and she doesn't know how to deal with it. So I teach her step-by-step process in order to help her mother. How you can understand a cancer patient as well. So that's how I've transformed my life, and now I dedicate my life towards raising awareness and talking to people about cancer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sue. Please, if you're watching right now, do endeavor to share the video so that your friends can also be part of it. You never can tell whose life you save, just someone bumping into this and seeing you giving a message of hope and comfort to others. It doesn't have to even be cancer and any other ailment that anyone is going through. Just words coming from Sue can just motivate. So please click on the share button and share it, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, and we'll go on. And do let us also know when you send your message where you're sending it from. Sue, I'm sure you know this one from the one on the screen. Could you read it out and let us know?
Sure. Bandana is saying, thank you for sharing your feelings of breast cancer. So thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah. And this one too, I guess it's from Nepal.
Yes, it is. Well, actually, I think it's from Myanmar. I think she's in Myanmar right now. So I think you have listeners in Myanmar as well.
Oh, fine. Thank you so much, so much. Yeah. So that's the show.
Thank you,
Would also
Pooja.
like Dr. Chiamaka, if you are there, please do give us a few things that women need to also know and all that. Okay, Chiamaka is back here, Dr. Chiamaka. So read this you and let's see how it goes.
Sure. So Dr. Chimamaka is saying, yes, the effects of chemotherapy tends to differ for every individual. Some put on so much weight. That's why we should be careful with our words, because we don't know what people are passing through. Exactly. That is so important. I had put on a lot of weight because of chemotherapy. We need to take steroids, and steroids puts on weight. The medications that we take on puts on weight. So often, interestingly enough, in my book, there is a chapter where I talk about what not to say to cancer patients, and what can you say instead. So just to give you an example, is that some of my very close families and friends actually said things like, oh my goodness, why did this happen to you? You're so beautiful, you're so young. And it really made me feel terrible, because I felt like, cancer is not something that only affects somebody who's it was just something that showed the lack of knowledge people were having regarding cancer. Because you can't compare beauty, you can't compare age to cancer, because right now, as we know, cancer is getting a lot common among people, and the number is increasing. In fact, in Europe, they say that 1 in every 10 people will get breast cancer in their lifetime. So that is quite a staggering number. Every country, the number is different, but at the same time, in the US, they say 1 in every 2 person will get cancer in their lifetime. So we need to know what to say and what are the right things to say. A lot of people had come up to me after cancer and saying that, oh, thank God, at least you put on weight. Because I know somebody who's lost a lot of weight, but that was also not really nice for them to say, although they meant it in a nice way. They meant it as an encouragement for me, but it wasn't a very encouraging comment, because I had put on a weight as a side effect of cancer, and it was really bothering me. So I think it's very important. We have to be very sensitive about what we tell people. So instead, telling people about, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to say to you, can I help you in any way, is the best thing you can say, because not everybody knows how to deal with people who are going through a major illness or a major crisis in life. So instead, if you can just say, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to react, but please let me know if I can help you in any way. Or can I cook you a food and bring something for you? Or when you're feeling better, let's go for a movie. I will come there, let's watch a movie together. So just trying to make the cancer patient feel as normal as possible, but also while acknowledging that something that they've gone through is quite tough. For me as well, at the beginning, it was very difficult for me to open up and tell everybody about cancer. I was insecure. I wouldn't talk to a lot of my friends. I didn't want to let them know that I had cancer. So I think we need to give people who are going through cancer that time to experience and that time to appreciate what they're going through in life as well, because their life is completely changing. And the same for their family's life as well. So I think we need to respect that. And I think Dr. clearly mentioned that we need to be very sensitive about what we tell people. So that's a really great point.
Yeah, so people also don't get stigmatized and all that. Yeah, it's very important. And
Yes.
I like the fact you also talked about people also supporting in a way that not making the survivor feel less human. I know before the show we talked about how friends might want to go watch a movie and they feel they can't call survivors because they feel maybe they will be too tired and all that. So it's a very good one. If you're still there, can you hear us, you? Okay, I think Sue's line is freezing up, but hope we'll get her back to come again, and we'll just wait a couple of seconds. So if you just joined us, this is the Tuesday's edition of Shagalinko TV. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Kabari. We're talking with Sue, and okay, let's see if she's back, so we can add her. Okay. So we're looking at breast cancer and how we can show support to survivors and also encourage body positivity. I was going to let you read this message here. It says, "This true story, Cancer, Curry, and Me, is full of excitement. I've read this book. Again, I want to go through it." This is from Ad Curry. Let me bring Sue on so that she could address this one. Sue, you are back?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I think I got
Oh,
disconnected there.
yeah, that's network issues for you. So
Technology.
read this, but we'll be fine. So read this one, and if you know which country this is, please when you send messages, do also let us know where you're sending it from. Over to you,
Sure,
Sue.
sure, sure. I think this is probably from Nepal. Devendranath Adhikari. He's saying this true story, Cancer Curry and Me, is full of excitement. I've read this book and I again want to go through it. Thank you very much for your comment and appreciating my book. A lot of people have told me that it's a good book to read. So I hope more and more people who've read the book can give their feedback, rather than after reading the book they will know more about what they think about the book.
Yeah, so I will also ask you to tell us where they can find it, either on Amazon and the rest. But there's another message on
Sure.
the screen. Who's
Sure.
this from? Shankar? Yeah.
Shankar, I don't know if it says wash hands. I'm not sure if that's a
Yeah,
correct
exactly.
comment which has come through.
Yeah. Have Have we read this, Stu, from Rabbi? Have you read this
Yes,
one?
no, I haven't. So it says
No.
your journey to fight against cancer, highly inspiring for all other people. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I think it's this love and support I get from everybody that makes me want to talk more to people and let people know about it. I think one of the things that I perhaps would like to mention here is that the support I received from my family and my friends was extremely encouraging for me to face cancer. If I didn't have if I didn't have a supporting husband, and if I didn't have a supporting parents, I think it would have been very challenging for me to go through something like this. But the fact that they were very supportive in whatever I was doing, the decision I was taking, if they were with me through the highs and lows, I think that really helped me always be positive and always try to take one thing at a time when things were wrong. So a lot of people think that being positive is only saying, um, oh yes, I'm having a great day, I'm being positive, or yes, I'm fine, that's being positive. But in reality it's not. You can't just say I'm fine and not be fine. You have to realize that it's okay not to be fine sometimes. It's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to just sit and be unhappy about what's happening to you at the moment. But the fact that you realize that something is not going right in my life, but I will control it, I have control over it, it's my life, and I will decide how to move forward. I think that's where you become really as a positive thinker. And I think my family and the support I got from everybody certainly helped me go towards um, that side of things, and it really did help me. And my parents saw that how positive I was. I was eating well. I was mentally, I was doing well. So I think my physical and mental health really made a big impression on my parents, because of which they also had a good mental and physical health. And in return, it was a good balance that was there for all of us who were going through adversity at that moment in our life.
Okay. See, we have a lot of messages here, so let's
Sure,
take a pause and take some of them so that they don't get angry that they dropped messages and we didn't read.
sure, sure,
This one is
sure.
from Pooja. It says, "Where can we read your book? Um, much awaited." So, could you respond to that from Pooja?
Sure, sure. Unfortunately, I don't think Amazon is available in Myanmar. I'm sorry, Pooja. But my book is available on Amazon. It's available on Amazon USA, UK, Europe, Australia, India, and all across the globe where Amazon is available. It's also available in many bookstores such as Barnes and Noble, Waterstone, and various other sites. I think the closest probably to ordering the book in Myanmar would be to either order it in Thailand or in Singapore, which is probably the Amazon hubs in Southeast Asia. But otherwise, for people even who are living in Nepal, the book is available in Nepal in a few bookstores. So please get in touch with me. I can send you more information about the book.
Okay. There's another one here I'd like you to read from Kant.
Sure,
Please go on.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm also facilitating for cancer awareness, preventive action in Nepal. So, like to be in touch with you. Of course, please get in touch with me. I would, wherever I can help, I'm certainly available, and I will try to do my best to help out. So please get in touch with me.
Okay, so many more messages here. There's another one here from, I can't pronounce this name, but it says cancer is a terrible thing, and stories of those who have survived should be shared or aired like on today's show. It brings hope to all. In fact, that's why we're doing this show today, and we thank Sue for being there. In fact, Doctor saw the flyer and she was so happy and said she was going to share it. The flyer just went around everywhere, and so many people even called before the show started that for you to even come out to want to talk about it has motivated them more. So yes, that's why we're doing this today. And everyone who knows us on this show, we know that we talk about issues that affect women, whether it be gender-based violence, whether it be sexual reproductive health. Everywhere we talk about issues that affect women, and cancer is not left out of it. Okay, so this one here, you could read it for us if you see. I'm just trying to rush
Sure.
some of the messages for you. Go on, please.
Sure, of course. Devendranath Adhikari saying, Shagalinku TV, thank you for promoting the idea. So I think this message is for you.
Mhm. Thank you very much. So I'll take another message from Chimamaka, Dr. Chimamaka
Sure.
Asogo. It says, signs and symptoms of breast cancer: lump in the breast, changes in the breast size or shape, skin dimping, nipples inversion, spontaneous discharge from nipples, change in texture of the skin, pain, etc. Thank you so much, doctor, for these. This is very, very helpful. And she goes on to say, every lady should learn breast examination. Sometimes the ladies find it out themselves. You know your body better than even the doctors. So, um, okay, it's gone off. Let me look for it again. Okay, yes, you know your body better than the doctor. So insist on the right thing to be done when you visit the clinic. What will you have to say?
I think that's a very important message out there, is that any woman after they've already got their periods should do a self breast examination. There are lots of videos on YouTube that you can watch to see how exactly the breast examination is to be done. Usually, it is said that the best time to do it is straight after you finish your menstrual cycle. But if that is not something that you remember, then the whole breast cancer team awareness is that you do it every first of the month. So 1st July, 1st August, 1st September, when you're in the shower, do a quick breast examination. And when you do a breast examination, you will notice that there could be some lumps in your breast that have always been there. And that necessarily will not be breast cancer, but that will tell you that that's how your breast normally is. So I think it's very good to know how your body normally is. And then when something goes wrong, just like doctor said, you have to investigate it. And we know our body better than anyone else. And just like in my case, where I shared that I did not have any symptoms, but when I looked at my breast, I knew that something was wrong, and I couldn't tell whether it was right or left. But because that gut feeling, I went to see the doctor. The doctor also said, oh, it's your age, hormonal changes. But then I insisted, I persisted, that I said, I think we need to get a test, we need to get an examination. And then it was an ultrasound, which the doctor, because usually they say women under the age of 40 should not get a mammogram, because mammograms are quite strong radiation. So women under 40 or 45 are not encouraged to do mammograms. So there's an ultrasound that had to be done, and then from an ultrasound they took a biopsy, which confirmed that I had breast cancer. So similarly, when people know their body, when people know what is normal, when something is not, you can always go to the doctor and talk to the doctor and investigate it more. Not everything that's wrong with your body is cancer. So I would not like people to get worried right now. It could just be stress. It could just be, something that's not completely related to any illness whatsoever. But also, it's good, the fact that you can go and talk to a doctor and get it investigated. I think that is what's very important to save everybody's life.
Yeah, true. So let's quickly read some more messages that are coming in. If you see this on the screen, okay. This other one, let's take this one first. Read this and let's see.
Sure. So Sabita Khanal is saying watching. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.
And
And
Dr. Chima,
Dr.
go on.
Chivamaka is saying, thank you for telling your story, dear, and kudos for putting it up in a book. Thank you so much. Thank you. I had a great medical team, so I really appreciate all the medical team who works so hard, relentlessly in the field of cancer, and these days with COVID and what's going on. So I really appreciate the great work the doctor and the medical science field is doing in today's day and age. So appreciation goes back to you as well.
Yeah, so read this other one from her again before we take another
Sure.
one.
Yeah, sure. You are right. There is great strength in vulnerability. Cry and wail if you can, but be sure it doesn't degenerate to something else. I'm passionate about mental health. Absolutely. I'm a big advocate now about mental health as well, because I think we live in a really rushed and fast forward and very competitive life right now, that we forget to take a step back and think about ourselves, our physical health, our mental health, because some research also say that if your immune system is compromised, if you are unwell, and if your immune system is compromised, it is it will only give your body a reason to fall sick. So it could either be cancer or any other illness. If your immune system can be compromised due to mental health as well as physical health. So I'm certainly on with you in this. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, there's another one here. Shankar is giving you thumbs up. I guess this is from
Thank you.
Nepal.
Yes, that's from Nepal.
Thank you so much.
That's my very supportive dad. So as you can see, I have a very
Oh,
supportive father who's
namaste, namaste. Okay, I got this one from Lagos, and it's from Ofwani Praise. He says, "Can a man have breast cancer?" He also says, "I recently saw a YB program where an Abuja-based man was diagnosed with breast cancer. If this is true, then how can a man do self-examination?" Okay,
sure.
Dr. Chimamaka replied to this. It says, "It is not really 100% known what causes breast cancer, just like most cancer, but there are some predisposing factors like obesity, um, okay, like obesity, genetic, etc. Avoid a sedentary lifestyle. Eat healthy. Avoid stress and rest. Avoid excessive alcohol intake, cigarette smoking. If you are 40 years of age and above, go for um, go for a manogram and mammogram rather. It's a low invasive kind of radiation. Okay, so Sanka back a second time. Could you read this one? We have so many messages and we'll be wrapping up
Sure.
soon. So please
Of course.
read. Yeah.
Of course, we'll do. Shankar Ghimire, my dad again says, thank you for sharing, dear Sue. So thank you very much. I think what doctor just said is really true. And thank you for correcting me. Women over the age of 40 can get of course, should get mammogram. And for people under the age, they don't recommend mammogram. And I thought it was because of the radiation, but I'm sure it's also because of, it's for women over the age of 40, it's still totally safe. So I think it's very good to go for a checkup regularly, to speak to the doctor how regularly it's required. because everybody is different, every case is different. If you've had a history, if you've had a family history of breast cancer, it's good to get it checked regularly. And of course, be very, very vigilant. There's another comment from my mom, who is also online. She says, thank you for sharing, proud of you, Sue. So thank you for my very supportive family who's online right now trying to
Wow.
support what I'm doing.
Wow, that's
and
good.
to
So,
and to go back
go
to
on, go on.
the question that the gentleman just asked earlier about breast cancer among men, yes,
Men, yeah.
men also get breast cancer, because breast cancer happens because of the mammary gland, which is present under on our chest, and both men and women have the glands. So yes, men can get it, but it's very, very small percentage of number of men who get breast cancer compared to women. And the self-examination for a man is exactly the same as a self-examination for a woman. If I'm wrong, please correct me, doctor. But it's the exact same way that you need to look at your skin from under your arms, all around your nipple and around. Like I mentioned, there are lots of YouTube videos that you can follow in order to see it, or you can also, of course, ask your doctor to show how it's done. So it's exactly the same way how women do a self breast examination is how a man would do it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sue. So, we have very few minutes to wrap up. I wish I could
Sure.
just go on and on and on. It's really an interesting conversation, but I know I'll bring you again a second time so you could
Sure.
still talk with us on some other area. So, before I let you go,
Of
I'd like you to
course.
talk briefly about the joy of motherhood. How do you juggle being an author, being a career woman, and also being a mother too? And by the
Sure.
way, our greetings to your beautiful daughter.
Thank you. Thank you. So I do have a daughter who's about 9 months old. The doctors had told me that because of chemotherapy and my age, chances of me being able to conceive would be quite difficult and would be quite slim. But I think our body is a beautiful thing, and having faith in our body and having faith that things will be all right is very powerful, because luckily I conceived her naturally. Although, of course, just like in life and anybody else's, we had quite a few hiccups. I had an ectopic pregnancy before I conceived naturally. So, therefore, I am extremely grateful for being a mother. The journey is quite interesting. It's not easy, as all mothers and fathers, I'm sure, would agree with me, but it's very rewarding, especially when the baby smiles back at you, is happy to see you. I think it makes it all worth it. And I think one thing women are very good at doing is multitasking. I think we've always, from centuries, we've always managed kids, we've managed household, and now also career. So I think the same way any other working woman is being able to manage a home, an office, and her own personal lifestyle. That's how I'm trying to to get at it, and take one day at a time, and to move forward.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to finally just ask, so where can they find you? Are there websites where people can read your work? What's the social media handle so we can put it out? And even after the show, we'll also type it out on the screen so that
Sure.
people can get you. Yeah. So please tell
Sure,
us.
of course. So I have an Instagram account which I regularly check. If people send me an inbox message or a direct message, I'll be able to check. My Instagram handle is health underscore life underscore spice. So health life spice. I also have a website by the same name, healthlifespice.com, where I talk about my book, my coaching, the life coaching I do, and a little bit about myself as well. So, and my email address is also available on my website. So if anybody would want to get hold of me, my email address is also available on the website. And the email address for people is sughimire@gmail.com. So it's my Sue and my last name, Ghimire, which is GHIMIRE @gmail.com. So anybody is, please feel free to contact me if there is anything.
Okay, so who would you usually on our show? We give our guests a minute or two to greet people who have been supportive, if there are organizations who have supported their work, if there are people who have done that, we give them a minute or two to give acknowledgement and give felicitations to. So you have 1 or 2 minutes to quickly just show your support as we wrap up the program now.
Sure. Thank you so much. That's actually a very, very thoughtful last few minutes, I think. Thank you, Ambassador Emmanuel. I think I would just like to thank my husband and my parents. I have a really great family, grandmothers. Unfortunately, both my grandfathers have passed away, but they also were always encouraging of me. My relatives, my friends. I think everybody who's been in my life. I think cancer teaches us that, life is very precious. So I really appreciate and I'm grateful for those few close friends and families I have in my life. And I'd really like to extend my appreciation to all of them. And also at the end, I'd like to say, Ambassador Emmanuel, thank you so much for recognizing breast cancer and body positivity as an issue that's worth discussing and doing a show on. So I really appreciate you reaching out to me and making this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sue, and thank you for joining us. And just to also read a few messages as a wrap up, Dr. Chimamaka said, absolutely is the same for men too. I guess for the examination that Sue you talked about, Dr. Chimamaka is responding and saying yes, that's the same. And yes, Ofwani Praise also said, thanks to your guests. Yes, this is Ofwani Praise from Lagos, Nigeria. Another very, very fantastic viewer. Another one here says, sharing is caring. So many messages that, hey, we can't finish all of them now. But the problem is, Sue has agreed that she will come back on the show sometime within this month or next month. And then we'll talk about menstrual hygiene for girls, young girls, and then talk about girl child education, because we need to also start grooming the young girl to become empowered woman in future. A lot has to be done in education and building and also boosting the morale of the young girl, so we can have a future where young girls become women who will stand their own. And so many messages coming, but I need to wrap up now. But finally, I'll take this last one as a close from Dr. Chimamaka. He says, well done, Ambassador Gabari, for putting this up. Keep blazing the trail. Thank you so much, Dr. Chimamaka. You've also been wonderful with a lot of your contribution. And it's so nice to also look at things from the medical angle and how you also looked at it from the survivor's angle. Hi, people. Thank you so much for being there. I wish I could go on and on and on, but with network, you never can tell. You might just decide to go up right now. But thanks to Sue for talking with us. Our topic for today was breast cancer, and we looked at how people can show love and support to survivors, and how people can also encourage body positivity for young people, for everyone going through whatever. No body shaming, no putting people down, and no stigma. Thanks to everyone who watched. The video will still be here after the show. Do share and do watch. And remember to like all our social media handles at Chagalinku TV across all, whether Facebook, whether Twitter, whether YouTube, whether Instagram, at Chagalinku TV. Particularly for YouTube, subscribe to our channel and then click on the notification button so that whenever we come live, you will be notified. Till I see you on Saturday, God willing, enjoy yourself and have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Once again, thanks to our guests for sharing your space. Like someone commented, sharing is caring. We truly, truly appreciate, and our regards to your families. To everyone who joined us, we truly, truly appreciate everyone who sent in messages. I think we've had the highest number of messages today. I was a bit scared about the topic because topics like this are not what people really talk about all the time. And I was scared if we'll have people join in or even talk about or contribute. But you guys proved me wrong today. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. The video is still here after the program. You can watch, share, and all that. Till I see you all, my name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, urging you all to have a beautiful, beautiful day and bye bye.